absolutely, completely, and totally and utterly excited to be bringing you this game this evening. It's going to be Mineski Sports 5 facing off against Arcanys Gaming, and it should be a really freaking great one. I'm Lyrical Dota, joined today by Moppax. And Moppax, we've been able to do it. We've been able to make it through the first best of 3. We got one more that's set to be going for tonight. Are you excited?
Radiant team back.
Yeah, no, I'm always pumped up, you know? Always good Dota. And Arcanys, I did catch them over in the C Kappa Invitational just about a week ago. It was about 6 days. And that was versus First Departure, where they did take a win.
Wow.
So, yeah, these guys are a qualifying team. But, you know, they're taking down a bigger squad before. So, Mineski, of course, one of the top dogs in the region. So we'll see what they can get done here.
Well, it would certainly make a really big impression if, even just taking one game off of them at this point, it would be a pretty good, sort of setup for them to move forward into the region, whether or not they end up winning or not. Regardless of what happens, it could be pretty freaking cool. And we're going to hop right on into the draft now because we've already got one started. The Invoker is going to be banned out, as well as the Enchantress, the Bounty Hunter, and waiting on that next one. So, I feel like this is something that we've been seeing more often than not. Like the Bounty Hunter and the Invoker band together, like that help that those heroes give in terms of the global presence from a Sunstrike, and then also the roaming early aggression that comes by virtue of that Bounty Hunter. It feels like it's just always something that you have to contend with. You need to make sure is sort of taken care of. And likewise also Mineski banning out the Earth Spirit. You never want to run to that guy.
Yeah, and Mineski, they play a very good Bounty Hunter. It is something that they're always willing to whip out. Trying to punish like junglers, they'll often have it against, or even just shoring up the mid lane is the most popular read, just to make sure he's going to be up in there, cause a little bit of problem for your courier too. So banning that out, not too surprised up against them. In terms of what they might want to grab first, in terms of like the top tier picks that they tend to go for, it is usually like the offlaner and support, so your Vengeful Spirits. They also run the Bane. The off lanes, it's mostly like your Darkseer, and then your Faceless would be their two most common ones. There's the Witch Doctor. It's a nice start up against the Nature's Prophet, of course. Can do very well with that early cast, can help force him out of the lane, which a lot of supports do have trouble with.
Yeah, and maybe as well, you already talked about there, the Faceless Void and the off lane being an option. Witch Doctor obviously pairs incredibly well with that hero. It's not just the Death Ward either. Like, let's say that you end up being able to catch 2 heroes in a Chronosphere, and there's a couple of other creeps around as well. You toss out the huge amount of damage to kill off the creep waves, and then immediately afterwards, you're going to be able to go for something along the lines of that cask, and then it just bounces between a couple of heroes. That's pretty freaking cool, because then you get this sort of sustained lockdown after a Chronosphere, which if the heroes didn't end up getting killed off in the midst of it, they end up going down afterwards. So pretty freaking cool there. Batrider is actually going to be the option now. So occasionally getting played in the mid lane, but I feel like it's much more often that we see this hero in the off lane. Well, what's your sort of impression of Batrider and where he fits in? Is it possible to sort of switch him up depending upon what the opponent's draft, or is there a place that you prefer this guy to be regardless of what else is going on in the draft?
I like a lot of teams are first banning it right now. Currently, we do still have the Venge available, so my initial thing whenever I see Batrider is I start to look towards counters, so the Oracle, the Vengeful Spirit. Now, Venge, the biggest for the lasso, and then okay, well, kind of the idea for the glimpse. Not quite as good though. They're usually dead by then anyway. The Oracle, also same idea with the ultimate, but he does do better in that laning. So, he of course nerfed to the jungle camps. It is a little harder for Batrider to catch up, and typically, it does make it more difficult for you to go greedy. So, like getting an Enigma, getting a Chen. I've seen several teams get punished because they went for having the Batrider +1, so that he doesn't have any stacks to go to in the jungle. I'm a big fan of it in the mid lane, to be honest. I think it's a strong early phase pick, simply because if they do go for those aggressive heroes like your Earth Spirit rolling in, your Tusk rolling in, he's able to manipulate the terrain in the mid lane, similarly against the Sprout too, which a lot of core heroes currently having some trouble with. Using that Firefly and just being a little bit more survivable.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that
Reserve
that's,
time.
it's not necessarily like the puck in that he's like completely and totally squirrely as far as his ability to escape, but it's definitely one of the more survivable heroes in that mid lane. And the one thing that I would kind of like to see maybe if the Batrider did end up going in the off lane position instead is maybe the Witch Doctor or possibly another hero. Once that Batrider gets those couple of levels up, then you start to rotate into the jungle, and then you see that other support move down to get the levels that they need up. So that's the other option that they could end up going for. I will say that probably considering it's the Batrider taken, regardless, this kind of shuts out the possibility for Mineski to go for a Faceless Void, I would imagine. It doesn't feel like it's that strong to go for both the Batrider and the Void, because then you're kind of sort of doubling down on initiation and really leaving out the damage. But regardless, it's going to be the Drow Ranger band out as well as that Alchemist, the Enigma, and the Sven. Pretty interesting. I think that they're still going to need some type of big AoE control. Do you think that sort of this is enough from the side of Mineski, or what would you be looking to as a next pick?
Well, if it is going to be the offlane or the offlane Batrider, you kind of start to think towards possibly a puck, but then again, you're going to need to more control, less damage. With a Batrider, you're looking for the level 6. He grabs the smoke, and he's going to start creating all that space around the map. And it does allow you to go for something like the Spectre, who's also very good against Nature's Prophet. So this is a super great strategy right now, because not only can she help out whenever Batrider finds a still lone person around the map, she's going to be having a final time in lane. She's just going to Spectral Dagger right over top of those. No body blocks coming out. You're always going to be getting like a stout anyway, possibly even the poor man's shield. And she can run down this Nature's Prophet and just totally force him from the lane.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. He's definitely going to be hurting if he does sort of stick around a little bit too long in those lanes. But he does sort of still cause the trouble. I guess the big thing that I'm thinking about here is for Mineski, particularly when you get to the later stages, you think about a disruptor as opposed to something like Avenge that we were talking about with Batrider. It's one way in which maybe the disruptor falls off in the later stages of the game because Batrider is going to pick up a BKB. All of a sudden, he doesn't care that much, and as you were mentioning, more often than not, the Batrider is going to pull the person out of position by the time the glimpse goes anyways. So now doubling down with that by picking the Spectre in the third pick, like they're in a really good position to scale well into the late game. And if I'm Mineski right now, I'd probably be looking to shore up my lanes a little bit, make sure I don't get rolled early by the Nature's Prophet disruptor and the potential there for an aggressive lineup. And if everything's all hunky-dory, then they should be good.
Yeah, this is a really good time to start bringing out this kind of a lineup by Mineski, just because Disruptor doesn't tend to do that well early. Like, he really needs those levels, and, if his lane happens to go really well, possibly with the help of this Night Stalker, which can be pretty good to help up the aggression, it seems like that is going to be their plan. It's understandable. You don't really want to go late game against Spectre. You don't really have too much of a choice, unless you're going to try and, out late game the Spectre.
Right.
Yeah, now we're kind of thinking, how do we put the pressure on the Spectre? We can't really send our Nature's Prophet solo up against them, so I think they might be trying to look for some sort of an aggressive matchup. Honestly, if that leads into a Core Vengeful Spirit or a Gyrocopter would also be pretty solid. I think it is time to consider going up against that Spectre and forcing Mineski to also grab some of these more defensive supports that maybe aren't going to be scaling too well later into the game.
Yeah, that's the way that I might think about it as well. But one thing that I'm somewhat considering here, I mean, you mentioned, oh God, OD taken. I was about to say that, one of the things that we've seen in this SEA region occasionally is Night Stalkers in the mid lane still, just being placed down there to get that super quick level 6. Then they're going to be able to start, roaming around with more often than not the 3 points in Void. They're going to have, the darkness pop at the end of it and have an extended nighttime to start to make their ganks happen. Against the OD, I really don't think that that's going to be super viable anymore. So this does kind of limit it to that Night Stalker in the 4 position, which can still do a good amount of damage, particularly in the first nighttime. You'll usually be able to get level 4 by the time that comes around. And then by that point, you've got, the 2 in the Void, the 1 in the Hunter of the Night, and 1 in the Silence. And then you can more often than not kill the Spectre. But likewise, as you were mentioning, Mineski should know that this is coming and already have one hero with a somewhat defensive ability with that Astral Imprisonment coming from the OD, although probably if he's rotating to the safe lane to help the Spectre, they got bigger problems to worry about.
Well, the global strat, it's still there in a sense from... Alright, they're going to grab that meatball. So they did this once against Brave.
Okay.
They did lose in 18 minutes. So I guess they're just seeing like there's not too much single target burst that allows you to like get that one meepo right immediately. Like there's lasso, but that doesn't work all that well. The last time that Arcanys did the same 3 opener, they went Nature's Prophet, Disruptor, Night Stalker, not in that particular order, but it was then with that Spectre and the Zeus. So you're kind of thinking like the meepo gonna be like replacing the Spectre here. Are we gonna go back for a Zeus and try and still give that aggressive potential for them to run on forward? I don't know. I guess they're just hoping Meepo's gonna like really get out of control and beat out the Spectre and OD. And you might see a 5th like really aggressive early hero that's just gonna keep creating the space and really be able to join up with the Meepo. I don't think we're getting anything too crazy late coming for the last pick of Arcanys.
I mean, this is going to be a little bit nuts here. I'm looking at this lineup, and you mentioned there's not a ton of single target abilities, but really I feel like if OD gets off to a good start, that arcane orb, particularly the pure damage going through, like Meepo relies a lot upon his, first of all, he gets relatively high armor because he builds a lot of those items that turn into agi stuff, and then also he's got the naturally high base magic resistance, and pure damage doesn't give a damn about that. So I don't know, I'm really concerned about this. Like maybe Meepo's gonna have to go for some treads first, which means that he doesn't translate into those boots of travel later, because I don't know, it's just there's so many things you need to consider about. They do go for the last ban of the Earthshaker, and also Viper going to be taken out. There's an option to maybe go for a Razor here if you're the side of Arcanys, but Mineski is the ones with the 5th pick now, and probably another support here. Is there anybody in particular that you really love? I mean, Jakiro's still available. That was like kind of the classic counter to Meepo.
I don't mind the Venge still. It would. I mean, it's just such a solid hero. If you're getting gone on by the Meepo, like he gets the blink poof. Like one person gets net and they're all flying in, you can swap out that person and save their life. Yeah, wouldn't be the worst decision here. Other than that, there's also still the Lion if they did want to get a little bit of that burst. Now, of course, the magic resistance is very helpful in that situation, but I mean, it's still a Lion. It can really help out against the Night Stalker as well as the Nature's Prophet, being able to Earth Spec through the Sprout. Couple different interactions there. I'm more interested though Arcanys are gonna go. Or if it's gonna be like a Beastmaster, I kind of like something like that. It's not an actual core. Like I think they're gonna go like Gyro or something, but I'd rather see something like a little bit off the map to try and like really give this Meepo a fighting chance. The last time they had the Meepo, it was in safe, and they ran it with the Quap to like make the space in the mid lane, and then it was a Void instead of Nature's Prophet. So
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
League's assassin.
Wow, really? I mean, I saw this. So, like, when they hit the Batride and the OD, I was looking at it before the Meepo pick, and I was like, can you hit a Nyx into, like, the mid lane? Is that even possible? I don't think it can happen. Like, you're just gonna lose. Like, I'd love to see it, because it's, like, the best counter against both those 2 heroes, but... Uh-oh. This is a very bold... I mean, I said, like, an earlier hero that, comes online a little earlier, and that is true for Nyx. Pretty powerful early on, but... risky business. I like it, though.
If you're gonna do this, like, you're coming into the match, you're going up against the big boys in the region, why not come out strong? Take your Meepo, take your Nyx Assassin in the mid lane, screw OD, screw the meta. We're doing what we want to do. Arcanys, you guys have my vote. I want to see them move on here. They've been really drafting in a pretty, what's the word for it? Like, bold way, I guess, is really the best way to say it. I also, if you look at this, if Nyx Assassin sort of is able to survive and get at least a decent amount of experience by that 4-minute mark, then you start to think about the Night Stalker again rotating into that lane. It's going to be pretty freaking cool. I'm excited. So I'll do a quick little introduction for all these fine folks over here. It's going to be play hard on the Nyx Assassin. A-Bang is going to be playing on the Meepo. We've got Boombax, who's going to be on the Night Stalker. Mackenzo, who's going to be on the Disruptor. And last but not least, Nice Sydney, who's going to be on that Nature's Prophet. And everybody heading on out to their own side. How's the team names going over there on the northeast side of the map?
We got Jules, Witch Doctor, is about to be engaging here with Nice Sydney, and then it'll be Raging Potato on his offlane Batrider. Looks like a stand-in, unless it's actually one of them just not tagged up, but I don't recognize the name, so I guess it's Ben-Hur on the OD. It'll be Cuckoo on the Spectre and vote Duterte. All right.
Wonderful.
The silencer there.
This is going to be a good match. I can already tell. Like, honestly, I haven't seen a Meepo in 6.86 yet, so I am super excited to see how this little guy goes. He's always one of those heroes that just he evokes such strong responses from I think viewers and casters and everybody. It's such a unique hero design that everybody loves to see a Meepo from time to time. So glad that we get to see a couple of them every now and then, and hopefully we're going to see Arcanys do a pretty decent job with him, just because you want to be able to get a lot of games. The ward placed down up on the high ground, going to be able to spout everything out over here, and should realize that the Witch Doctor was placing something, and maybe Arcanys are going to be able to take care of it. Again, the big thing to keep in mind with Meepo is that sort of stacking up the jungle and making sure they're able to get enough gold from it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Jesse Vash on the silencer. So
okay.
Sure, who had changed his name.
Yeah. Kinetic Field, the Impale gets thrown out there. They've also got the Arcane Rune, though. They end up being able to pick this up on the Nyx Assassin. They're trading a lot of hits. Nyx is dropping low already. He is maybe going to fall. They end up getting the Fairy Fire alive for the moment. Still 4 stacks, 5 stacks now of the Sticky Napalm is going to be able to turn back around for the Impale. Can they find any kills at all? Looking for one more right click. Can he find it? They end up doing a lot of damage. 7 stacks now, the Impale. He's taking so much damage, and he does go down. First Blood going the way of Raging Potato. Maybe going to be able to find the kill here as well. Disruptor wants to be able to get it, and he does finish him off. So 1-for-1 trade, but First Blood going the way of Mineski. Can they find anything else here? They're still battling. What is even going on right now? The Arcane Curse is very strong, but man, oh man, no spared expenses right now for the action.
All right, well, they've done it. They have gone with the Nyx in the mid. To be honest, I was kind of expecting the Nature's Prophet to head mid. I thought that, like, it seems nigh impossible. I mean, yeah, you're a counter to OD, but this looks kind of brutal. Like, I feel like a good OD should be able to just run this down, like, get himself some boots, Carrot can only do so much, and then just run at them with the orb.
Yeah.
I guess until you have enough points in Essence Aura, it can be a bit difficult.
Well, I guess the other thing about it, and I was kind of expecting this more, was points in Spike to Carapace, and you can see right now the Nyx Assassin doesn't have a ton of mana, but it is kind of a nice lane in that the Silencer is sticking around in it, so he just is kind of playing it a bit more like the off lane, and Nyx can play in the off lane role there. Nature's Prophet's gain a decent amount, and this is leaving open the Night Stalker to go for that Iron Talon jungling, so it's not the worst thing in the world, I think, in the context of their entire draft. Oh man, Meepo is going to be able to hit the net now, going for the poop. Is going to do a lot of damage on the Raging Potato, and that's actually going to be a solid kill. Mr. Meepo ends up being able to summon up a little buddy and finds himself a decent chunk of gold.
Yeah, that's just Raging Potato things. He likes to play a little bit aggressive, your Ohio kind of style, you know? Just going in there on that Bat Rider, trying to get the kill, but, I mean, there's no glimpse, you know? Like,
yeah.
He was, in fact, under the tower. Can't really allow that to happen up against Disruptor and... Oh.
Yeah, it definitely, I mean, there was nothing good that was going to come from that. He either had to kill both of them or just, not make anything happen at all. And looking for an opportunity, just a little bit of an overextension. And again, I will say that, like, in the context of the whole draft, I think that the Nyx Assassin makes a little bit more sense. And you're seeing he goes down for the rune. Then at that time, the Night Stalker moves on in, is able to soak up a little bit of experience. They're sort of trading it off back and forth. And it's not looking like the worst thing in the world. Top lane, Jewel's taking a lot of damage, drops down to about 100 HP, but out of mana regen, he might need to be able to back out a little bit. I guess he does have the 2 clarities as well as the Voodoo Restoration, so he's actually going to be fine.
Yeah, back on the Night Stalker. He actually started out on a Mud Golem camp instead of swapping to something else, and he is just, like, way behind. I'm not sure what the plan is here, and typically, you're just able to keep attacking the camp. You can almost easily get 4 minutes level 4, so he's essentially a full level behind right now. It's gonna be a very hard time for him to catch up to that. But like this, Jesse Vash behind. He wants his courier. No observer though, but he's got a little bit of smoke left, and he's not gonna be able to catch this one.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You'd really love to be able to pick that one up, and it's not the worst thing in the world. Silencer is still stuck at level 1.
They're trying.
Are they going to be able to find a second one? Double poof coming through, and the right clicks are there. He doesn't do a ton of damage, but they still finish him off. Meepo dropping fairly low is going to be able to walk out of it, though. And even before the nighttime falls, Night Stalker's still able to come in and help out with the kill. He ends up being able to pick that one up.
Alright, finally the bottle gets purchased just as Jesse Vash is leaving. say his team is like bodied so hard in mid lane, the bottle's so late.
Yeah. Well, and
Next
you look
play.
at top. I like that the steal of the rune by the Nature's Prophet. It was a little bit risky. They actually didn't have the greatest vision in the world there.
I mean, that's the second time though, because previously there was a regen rune bot that essentially saved this lane for the Nyx. Like, there's no way that he should be level 4 right now if it wasn't for that regen rune. Rune's playing a very big part, and denying them from the OD, of course, equally important.
Absolutely. Yeah, and they've been able to do a good job of it. A little bit of a pause coming out, but that's fine. A little disconnect too. And you take a look at the hero levels right now. It's the Meepo up at the top at level 5. You've also got yourself the Bat Rider, who's about the same. And you mentioned there the Nyx, and this is kind of what I was alluding to, is that I would agree that if he didn't get that regen, he wouldn't be able to be up to level 4. But I also feel like it's hard to kill him in this lane because they're always going to have that Spike Carapace up and ready to go, as long as he doesn't get all of his mana stolen away. So as long as he survives and then maybe starts finding ganks at level 6, like, it's really just all down to the Meepo at this point and making sure he gets the farm he needs, I feel like.
Yeah, the boots are now up on your OD, so should be like a free kill essentially, because there's no boots because you need to get the bottle and he's so far behind that there is the carapace for sure, but it's only 0.6. Like, I don't know, you have to cast it. Your epic carapace one of these, and the moment you do, the OD is just gonna run all over you. Oh, just
sprouted up, and they're going to be able to kill this off. This is going to be a quick and easy kill on the silencer, so
he had tangos. He's not looking.
I'm not sure. It was a little bit odd. Meanwhile, bottom lane also, we're still seeing Raging Potato chase after this Meepo. It does look like he's going to go down there. One of them a little bit lower than the other, got hit by that flame break, and they're able to find the kill. So back and forth we go across all of these lanes. It looks like Nature's Prophet also wants to head out of here, but they're taking over the opponent's jungle. They're kind of utilizing their own jungle. It's looking like a pretty decent game so far. You know, Arcanys, they've been able to get off to a pretty good start and play hard mid lane. Yeah, he needs to be careful.
Yeah, then the Night Stalker is gonna 2 kills. He managed to snag both of them. A little bit of some KS coming in. Now they can pressure up onto Cuckoo as well.
It's dropping a little bit low. They have that Witch Doctor in the area and still keeping a hold of everything. Is this actually just going to be a dead Jules? A couple of hits. I think that they might be able to kill him off here. They do end up being able to finish him. Just a couple of right clicks coming in super easy right there for the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, just rushing those phase boots, obviously giving you a pretty ridiculous amount of damage. I was thinking he had like double null, honestly, with how hard he was hitting. Pretty squishy down the Witch Doctor, and oh my god, another rune. Like, they have completely decided this mid lane, the support that he's been getting.
Oh man, they're going to be able to kill him off. It looks like they're pretty close to it. One more right click is all they're going to need. 16 HP. Worth noting, on the other side, down bottom, Raging Potato is going on the Meepo again. The poof is going to be able to finish him off, but Meepo dies in the end as well. So they end up being able to get the counter kill, and OD just getting away by the skin of his teeth. That was so close. Oh, turn back around. OD's going to end up going down. Maybe it's going to be the wand, but oh my god, the Astral. He is playing this so close to the edge. My goodness.
He's going back in. He's showing off at this point. Got the salve. Yeah, and Jesse Vash did get in there at bot for the experience, which was pretty huge. It gave him a full level. Getting 440 experience from the kill on the meat. So despite the Bat Rider dying, they at least did get something.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's that lasso mid lane. There.
Gonna use it, pull him in. They do still have that Spike Carapace that's out and trying to walk away, but they're gonna be able to run after him. And yeah, this is gonna be a pretty quick and easy kill right there as they just finish him off. 6-4 currently the score, and it's been a pretty hectic game so far. I mean, it's 10 kills in 7 minutes, and not a whole huge amount of gold lead. The rotation on it. Are they actually just gonna kill off? What was that? They just TP'd in on him. Oh my goodness.
There you go. Drums coming up, man. Hey, Sydney, this guy is making the plays on the NP. Look out for this guy. I'd be banning this hero space next time I'm against these guys.
He's been doing a great job of it. Really, really just consistently knowing where he needs to go and making the right moves. And Raging Potato, again, just going to be a complete and total pain in Meepo's butt throughout the whole course of this game. They're throwing out the nets to keep him away for the moment, looking for maybe a double coup action. They haunt on in, though, onto the Meepo's in a lot of trouble. Everybody is here. They're actually able to get one kill off on the Bat Rider, but they end up losing him as well. The Meepo goes down, now chasing after the Disruptor. 2 are dead on both sides. They glimpse on back the Spectre, trying to create that little bit of separation. Meanwhile, they turn back around. They catch the Impale one time. I don't know if they're going to be able to kill off this OD, though. He's trying to TP away, and it looks like he's going to be able to escape. No chance for the kill. But again, just such a hectic couple of team fights.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's like lucky or unlucky, but Ben-Hur is actually not getting that many Essence Auras procs in time that he is actually engaging play hard. He's pretty low on mana, so he can't actually get that max damage dealt from the mana burn, right? Because it's not like your AM where that massive mana pool just absolutely gets destroyed. With Mana Void, you actually have to have some mana left for mana protect. What do you think, Tia?
Exactly.
I think that last one did like 30 each.
Yeah, that's the little bit of unlucky part about it. And the thing too is you could say like, oh, he should have saved the Impale or something, but they wouldn't have been able to find that kill on the OD if he had saved the Impale. Like, they needed to be able to get the lockdown, and maybe something that could end up coming back to bite Arcanys a little bit. I guess that they've still got the Meepo stun as well with the net and everything, so it's probably okay. The interesting thing about this is more often than not, I feel like in the meta that we've been seeing, it's a lot about taking kills to take objectives, and there's been no objectives taken in this map. It's just been taking kills to fight, and more of that may be going to happen up top as they're rotating in several heroes to try and mess around with Cuckoo slightly, but I don't know if they're actually going to be able to find anything here.
Yeah, a lot of the fact that they're not just objectives just has to do with that Meepo. Raging Potato just constantly applying pressure. It's made a big change for them because you know the Meepo needs to get really farmed. That's kind of their win condition here. They've kind of dulled down the rest of the draft here to make this Meepo fit in, to give him space to where they're going to be able to combine with him as early as possible. But Raging Potato, yeah, he died a bunch of times, but he's been face slowed him down, and he's still almost at the Blink Dagger at 10 minutes.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job. Despite that early death that you mentioned, it's like, if you're able to slow down the Meepo by any means at all, then you're completely, totally changing the sort of whole course of the game. And with this big stack getting taken now, it's just going to finish off as Blink Dagger, and maybe they're going to be able to find themselves a little kill. Who would you target at this stage? Do you go for the Meepo, or do you try and just kill off maybe the Nature's Prophet, the person that's making that space for their team?
Oh, well, he's definitely a high priority target for now. With the lasso, it's a lot easier once that blink come up. We'll get the smoke. I would imagine it would be the NP.
Okay.
Nyx. Oh, okay, gonna try something here. Looks like he got it.
Nice little pickup there, able to make that one happen, and maybe going to be a little bit of an extended fight, chasing after the Witch Doctor. They TP in with the Nature's Prophet, able to get that long-range spout. The bounce is going to go, and it does look like they're going to be able to find that kill. The Urn Charge again, over to the side, taking a lot of damage. The Haunt's committed now. They end up being able to get a secondary Impale, which means the runaway Reality back in on the Nyx Assassin, as well as that Night Stalker, but they're going to call off the charge. 2 dead for the price of 1, but it was a pretty high priority target, as you were mentioning.
Yeah, plus they get the kill on top of the Spectre, so that Haunt totally worth it.
Yeah.
Getting that gold going, go towards that Manta, that Diffusal Blade. And it might, honestly, it could be a Radiance game. Now, up against the Meepo, obviously, pretty super useful for the mischance. Wailing away on you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that, I mean, there is something to be said about sort of the poof versus the right clicks that come in, but eventually it's really going to be the right clicks that make the difference. Like, poof only lasts pretty good for so long until you start to get other those other big items up online. They're going to be able to bring on over the OD, dropping fairly low. They get the Impale off. He's just going to go down.
They got
that first static storm committed. Oh, is he going to die as well? So they do find 2. So 2 high priority targets go down there. And a relatively even exchange, slightly more into the favor of Arcanys, but again, given how important that Meepo is, I feel like anytime they can kill him, it's so worth it.
Yeah, and he's only level 9, like he's at 3 levels is not ideal. You're looking to be soaking up all that EXP as Meepo. I don't know if they're thinking they can go into, like, he did go for the bots and not taking him early, meaning he's going to get a lot of farm coming into that mid game. So if they can like work around him, using that Nyx Assassin for the global gank potential, and maybe work in a Roshan, maybe they can catch back up to Cuckoo, but he's going to slowly start to slip away here.
Oh God, trying to run away. Worth noting, talking about Cuckoo, they're going to be able to catch him. Oh, he ran out of the things. They're trying to chase him now as well with the nets, and this is going to be a dead hero. He's actually TPing out. Is he going to be able to escape from this one? Oh my goodness, the global silence coming into such huge plays right there. Oh wow, that was
pretty sick.
Yeah.
Rounds for HP.
Jeez. Well, that needed to happen. If they did end up being able to kill off that Spectre right there, that would have been pretty disastrous for the side of Mineski, but they're doing a great job. The difference in terms of team net worth, again, Arcanys is up on top, 4K in the lead, only about 500 experience, but they're going to walk right on into him. Raging Potato, silenced immediately, is still able to get the flame break off, is going to be caught off to the side as well. There's going to be the static storm, the blink away! Are you kidding me? He had everything on him. Meanwhile, my entire frame rate's dying because it can't handle the plays that just were made. Play Hard is trying to turn back around here. They're going to be able to use the flame break. Doesn't catch onto the Night Stalker. They're still chasing. I think that he's dead. Yeah, he's super dead. But man, that blink play. All right, never mind. We're not done yet. Silencer's going down. Witch Doctor Ulta is infinite as well. It's not going to be able to finish off the Nature's Prophet. He is going to be able to escape, but it looks like they're able to get out with the Silencer's life as well.
Yeah, the -2s are starting to rack up as well.
Oh.
Now after 10 stolen intelligence, all these scrims. Oh, Potato? Oh, he canceled it! Oh, the flame break!
Oh my God. Caught right at the very end of that one. Nicely done. And so several things just going all the way of Mineski in those past couple of fights. The blink away by Raging Potato. Take back anything bad we ever said about the dude. Like, those are some quick fingers, and he was able to make it out of there. My goodness. And that last one, I'm assuming it was just breaking the poof away as the flame break came in. Is that what that was?
Yeah, it was just both of them, like there were two meatballs poofing at the same time, and managed to catch one of them. It was like a millisecond difference. Pretty crazy. It was like last moment play.
Jeez.
Getting her done, and now moving up into that 4-staff. He is not very far away. In fact, just probably like one more Firefly through this jungle. And a couple more camps over that 15-minute mark. Should be able to start cleaning that up.
Yep. Well, they just drop on down a ward. I believe that was not spotted. Those pings, well, maybe it was. Yeah, they're calling out that area is at least full of Mineski heroes. But right now, if you're Arcanys, you got to be feeling a little bit worried. Like, you were at this fairly decent sized lead, and now you lose your Meepo. You don't get that kill off on the Batrider. Like, over and over again, these things that you really need to be able to make happen. Like, the acceleration is really starting to slow down now. And I guess it is worth knowing Meepo almost has Ags. He's only about 600 gold away from finishing it off, which is fairly decent, but you'd love to be able to get a little bit more farm on him.
And it looks like they're going, I guess they're starting to aim for a later game here. It's going to be a Midas coming up onto your Night Stalker. Pretty typical when you're trying to get up in towards like Gem and the Aghanim Scepter later on, but it's not going to be helping for a while. The Aether Lens is almost done on the Disruptor, which is, it's okay. I like the distance that it adds to the Static Storm, probably being the best part. Just kind of throw that down. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of which, we're going to end up having a gank come through here. Meepo gets caught out again. Oh.
Cast Dota.
That hurts. And just again, like, again, I said it was a very bold play for them to go for the Meepo into the, the Witch Doctor, into the OD, all of these heroes, and I still stand by that. I'm not sure if it's going to work out. They actually find this kill here. Oh, Disruptor, saying ain't so. He's going to end up going down, and the Spectre is going to start to get out of control. This is very scary. With OD also picking up the Aegis in a couple of seconds here, Mineski are really going to start to roll.
Yeah. This is pretty rough. That Roshan was a pretty big chance for them. At least they do get Cuckoo in the lane.
That was nice.
A little bit too long.
Yeah, they ended up being able to find them there. And again, that's sort of the power that the Nyx Assassin gives you. You're going to be able to, go in there, get the Vendetta off, and follow it up with a Night Stalker kill. They're going to have a vision advantage throughout most of the game, and maybe that's the way that they end up being able to take this. The only real thing that they have vision-wise to be able to shut it down is being able to commit for the Haunt and then follow it up with the initiation from the Batrider. So it does require a good amount of coordination on the side of Mineski to make this work, but they've proven so far they're able to do it.
Yeah, I'm feeling like they have a pretty solid advantage here. It can all get turned around pretty fast, though, with the No, he comes into a team fight and picks one guy off immediately. Maybe you lose that OD straight up, and then the Spectre is the real issue though. It's very hard for him to focus down Cuckoo because the dispersion damage dirt onto that Meepo.
Yeah. Well, definitely, and I mean, Meepo is certainly not a hero you build a BKB on to be able to deal with that. It's not really his MO. Yeah, I almost wonder also if it's worth it to go back for that. No, it's probably not worth it to go back for the Radiance ever. I think that just building up all those stats and eventually into Heart and then dispersion damage being dealt out is going to be the way to go. As far as the OD, do you think it's worth it for him to try and go for that sheep stick, or what would be the sort of item of choice for you for the OD at this stage?
BKB for sure.
Yeah.
I think makes the most sense. I was kind of expecting Cuckoo to possibly go back into the Radiance even after the drums, but he's gone for the Yasha, possibly because he's seen that the Orchid's coming out for the. So not only is Manta just gonna be helping out a little. For that, it means that there's no Aghanim step for the Radiance. It's not that necessary. You don't need the massive split push coming out from the Spectre, and it's a little bit too risky with that Night Stalker vision eventually coming out and the Nyx anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm with you absolutely. So I feel like it's the safer build, and we've talked a bit about this so far that I think late game Mineski's draft really does sort of take off, and they're not in any hurry to end this. I don't think. There's always the worry with Meepo that he's just going to win one team fight and run down mid and destroy your base. But as long as they sort of keep to themselves in a pretty good spot, I feel like they're going to be okay.
Well, for now, it's been relatively quiet. I'd like to see maybe just some smoke-up action because the Haunt's online. Raging Potato, the Bat Rider, not someone who really wants to be sleeping, You want to be get up and run around, and it looks like Arcanys are aware of this, though. Just popping at nighttime is going to help reduce that vision. Yeah. Going forward during the night, too, so when you actually swap over to the Dire side, you can see just how reduced it is. It's so painful. Like, look how far Jules can see here. You never know how close they could be. I mean, that's like hail range.
Well, absolutely, and I mean that's what I was talking about too, with the ability to find a gank at all. If Raging Potato wants to catch somebody, like, they have to haunt for it, and then there's no guarantee that the place that you're haunting towards is going to be within range to catch them with the the Flaming Lasso. So a lot of issues, and I think that the Night Stalker pick has really worked out well for Arcanys. It's just going to come down to them being able to take advantage of that to find the kills with the Nyx Assassin, and like you said, get those impales off. It does look like Nyx is also saving up for the Blink Dagger potentially. I really like that item choice if that is indeed what he ends up going for. It could also be a transition into something along the lines of, that Aghanim Scepter, which you occasionally see. I feel like it's almost always Blink first, though, if they're going to go for something like that.
Yeah, they're kind of missing the initiation. Speaking of which, missing initiation for you.
Yep, that's a pretty good one. They did end up being able to glimpse him away. It's just going to TP out of there. The Flame Break isn't going to be able there, but they do end up being able to get the kill with the Desolate. I thought that they might have been able to escape from that one, but Nyx Assassin does go down, and another pickoff going the way of Mineski.
Yeah, and that is going to be slowing him down. It's really hard. Like, you do not want to be dying on a Nyx.
Bottom lane again.
Oh, they got him, yeah.
Nature's Prophet goes down. Man, this is surgical.
And yeah, but the problem is, like, all your gold from Nyx comes from Nyx, right? It's kind of like clockwork in that sense. Back when he used to be more popular, is that you don't really get anything at all from farming, and he's sitting on 50 lasters since the mid at 21 minutes. It just means that, oh my god, again? Cuckoo, please.
Jeez, it was again just that the blink reveal coming in from the Meepo, so you can give him a little bit of credit maybe there, just because he was again the minus vision, and then the blink reveal does cause him some trouble, but shouldn't end up getting caught out like that, I would assume. It's not something that you would expect, at least. Oh jeez. Poor Disruptor, he drops down the Static Storm. Not sure if that was the play, but Odie just able to walk away from him. They just actually an expire right there.
Yeah, and they just popped the smoke, or rather, they popped dust there on Jesse Bass because they saw the Nature's Prophet TP coming in, thinking the Nyx might be around. Doesn't look like Playhard wants to go in still. And either way, he needs like more kills, and he can't die because he needs these bigger items. If it is going to be the Aghanim Scepter, if it is going to be like the eventual Octarine Core, we'll sometimes see just for that insane mana burn. I do like the Blink Dagger though, because they don't have that much initiation. Maybe the Meepo will be enough, but still helps set up some poofs too.
Oh, they're actually going to be able to catch the Nature's Prophet up in the top lane. Again, Raging Potato This guy has really been my MVP
Look
so
at him
far.
getting the kill with Cuckoo. Oh, come
Wow.
on.
I think they're a little bit worried about stuff going wrong, and it would have been a nice little play to give it over, but they still end up being able to take it. One thing I will say is that Meepo is starting to get his items up. Like, he's got himself his Agnum Scepter. He's got that Blink Dagger. We saw him kill off Cuckoo. This is still a lot of damage that you need to contend with if you're trying to face against this. And look at the towers start to fall, even with just the 3 of them right there. They do end up coming in now. BKB popped a lot of damage onto the Night Stalker. They go with the Haunt as well, trying to TP out of there. It looks like the Meepos are going to be able to escape. No chance for them to find them, but it does look like the Disruptor might die as well. The chase from Raging Potato, that's going to be a kill, and just ends up running them down. But back towards the mid lane, again, Arcanys never stopping. Meepo keeps the pressure on. So despite the fact they just lost that team fight, they're pressuring towers on the other side.
They're coming in now with a flame break.
One is caught inside the Astral. He's maybe gonna go down. Oh god, they're gonna be able to kill him off. And that's what I was talking about. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, that was a little bit too risky there. Not sure what he was expecting. I guess underestimating the total mobility, just threw him the Blink Dagger at Ben-Hur. Yeah, they get in there, and the TP's, of course, quickly rotating. And now, Nate Sydney. You know, yeah, he's got the Force Staff, but of course, without the lasso, pretty hard to lock that down.
Yeah. I've been so impressed by this Batrider. I don't know if I've seen a Batrider play this well. Maybe it's, you know, that he just feels really comfortable against this team or something, but he's been playing about as good as I've seen Batrider this patch so far. Despite that early death in the bottom lane there when he ended up diving a bit deep against Meepo, but it's kind of a product of, you know, the lane that he was in. He needed to kind of just continually throw his body at that Meepo, and ended up working out for him.
Yeah, it might just be a symptom of the fact that, like, his main counter in the game, the Nyx Assassin, is just so busy doing everything else. He's the mid laner. Like, he needs to be prioritizing the bigger targets, the OD, the Spectre, whereas typically when you do see a Batrider, he almost always gets counterpicked because he's an amazing hero. Like, he's always going to be a part of the competitive scene just because the way the lasso works. Doesn't matter how many times you nerf it, how many times you change it, he's always going to make some sort of a comeback, and again, that's been the case this patch. So you always see the Oracle, you always see the Avenge, and you do occasionally see the Nyx just for the Carapace onto the Firefly, but he's too busy for that right now. And so it's kind of giving Raging Potato a little bit of this free reign, and at the same time, like, the Nature's Prophet is getting run over. And it's so easy with Haunt and the OD. Like, there's always someone there to help him get these kills with the lasso.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and just the mobility that you're seeing, because, like you said, the Haunt, because of the Blink Dagger that's up there, it's everything that you could possibly need. I will say though that you are now only about 700 gold away from the Agnum Scepter up on the Night Stalker. It's not a terrible time, and you know, he's been able to do this by going the Iron Talon into the Hand of Midas. So that classic super greedy build, the Batrider looking for a chance to catch on to somebody, but they're actually chasing him, and unfortunately he did end up managing to TP out of there. So this is going to start to translate into, you know, a good amount of map control. Do you feel like this is going to be enough to bring them into the forefront of the game? Not necessarily that Mineski are leading by a crazy amount, but it does feel like they're in control of this game.
Yeah, it just seems like over the next 10 minutes or so, these heroes are really going to start to fall off. This Nyx Assassin, he's only level 11, trying to farm, but he cannot quite get there. You're looking at level 16 OD on the other side, who's at the same level as a Meepo. It's rather insane, and this is the problem with the Nyx and the core role, especially coming out of the mid lane. It's like such a problem when you have this other kind of traditional offlane, the Nature's Prophet, is that he just can't keep up. He kind of plateaus at this Blink Dagger, and unless they win some massive team fight, I don't see him getting into the Agnum Scepter or anything else anytime soon.
Yeah. Oh, and that's kind of the thing that we talked about there. You know, you've got the Ags. He's having to go back for the drums build, which means that he's sort of trying to get whatever he possibly can to survive the big amount of damage that's coming through. But I will say that all it takes is one big poof combo. It's a lot of damage that comes on in, and very rapidly can turn the course of a team fight with, you know, the 5 Meepos poofing all over the place. It does again come down to, like, again, initiation, and maybe now that you've got that Agnum Scepter that's up on the Night Stalker, you're going to be able to find the initiation that you want, but it's going to require really good coordination, and we haven't seen that since the early stages from Arcanys, really.
I wonder if they will, like, smoke up and try and get something done here from their side, just like you're seeing Mineski do now. And once again, Mason, you know, if you need to be honest.
Yeah, and you can see here as well the Night Stalker, or not the Night Stalker, excuse me, the Silencer, placing wards in the enemy jungle. They've got eyes on everything they could possibly want. Again, it's night. When it's nighttime, it's going to be harder to see all that stuff, but it's just, this is... I mean, right now the net worth lead is really not that significant, but 10k experience lead for Mineski. It's just, it's been such a hard game for them.
And,
ooh.
And that's interesting that he went back for it. It's been a long time coming. He hasn't like any item progression. They also hadn't been fighting, so like defensive items were not forced out at all on top of that Spectre, which is huge, right? Like you didn't have that Night Stalker putting the aggression and maybe making him or like, oh, do I need to go for a Manta? Do I need to avoid the silence that's going to be coming out from this Orchid and Night Stalker? But without that threat or that feeling, just going for the Radiance, giving them that mischance, and we'll see if Nate City now. Like I would be way more hesitant to go into the Agnum Scepter simply for that, honestly.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I will say that, you know, the Spectre did die a couple of times, so I think it also goes to show that there's a good amount of restraint there, that you might feel like you have to go for the Manta style because stuff is going a little bit bad, but he ends up, you know, holding off and going for the bigger item, and there's no question right now that at this point in the game, a Radiant's much better to have than, you know, a Manta style. Oh my goodness, he's actually just going to die. All right, well, never mind. I take it all back. I don't know if Manta would have saved him there necessarily. Again, at the end of the day, it all comes down to positioning. And they don't feel comfortable taking Roshan with that, actually. So
no, that was just cuckoo being dumb.
Being cuckoo?
Just way too deep. Like, there's just no excuse for being there, honestly. Like, there's a tier 1 tower. I don't know if he just forgot. I'm going to assume he did, but Meepo has bought, so...
Ooh, that was really close. And they're actually going to be going for Roshan of their own, spotting out that it's a little bit low. They're going to be trying to take this out, and Meepo comes on in, going to be able to take it down fairly quickly here.
Yeah, this is the big deal. This could be an actual turning moment here for Arcanys, where they can take a pretty serious lead. Like, one more big pick off on the OD or the Spectre, and they're going to have a lot of control of this game.
The other thing to keep in mind about this, Meepo has 3,500 gold in the bank. Like, if he takes a couple of other towers here, he's actually going to be translating this into what looks to be an ultimate orb. So he's going to be going for that Scotty build, and he's getting relatively close to it. Only needs a little bit more, and all of a sudden his damage starts to really ratchet up.
Yeah, I'm pretty peeved at Cuckoo, honestly. It's like really foolish. It's just like, it's so frustrating to see a game go where it shouldn't go because of silly things like that.
Yeah.
I just know he's a better player than that.
Oh, they jump forward. A little bit of lag coming in from the server. Sorry about that one, but we do end up being able to get counter initiation. The huge Sanity's Eclipse come through. That's going to be the first Aegis down. Do they have anything to follow this up with, though? It does look like Meepo's going to respawn. Night Stalker's already dead. They end up being able to go for the Agnum Scepter after getting ultimate. They jump forward onto the Silencer. They throw it down. The Static Storm onto the Witch Doctor's Hole, but the Meepo does fall. They weren't able to kill off Cuckoo, and now it looks like that is going to be the Nature's Prophet escaping, but still the chase continues for this Disruptor. He is going to die. Glimpse on back, but is this going to matter? Does he actually escape now? The last right click flies from that Witch Doctor. It looked like it could have been good right there, but they still lose 4. And you kind of mentioned there, you know, the decision making. I wonder about the decision making to go before Meepo gets his next big item.
Yeah. I think they were like kind of smelled blood a little bit after getting that Roshan. They're like, it's okay, we have Aegis, we can fight with the Meepo, but if the second Ben-Hur gets like out of control, if he's not the person that gets blown up, and all it took was 4 right clicks on somebody and then just totally dumpstering them with the Sanity's Eclipse, and I don't think we've talked about it, but there has been 14 stolen intelligence, which does help out. A couple of those being the Meepo as well, so there's someone who like heavily builds into stats. It is just gonna so that Sanity's Eclipse, like every single point, obviously making a difference there.
Absolutely, and the bigger thing also for me, especially if you're able to get it off at the start of that fight, is the 40% mana reduction just off the top. Like every single time that gets casted out, they've got a lot of heroes here that need to cast their spells in the midst of a team fight, and if they're losing all their mana there at the start of it, it's not the way that needs to go. It looks like they're going to be able to push out the creep waves on bottom. Again, the nice part about this is Arcanys have been able to hold on to their towers. Only one tower has gone down at this stage, but maybe again the window's starting to close down a little bit. I feel like they need to go again once Meepo gets this Scotty up, and not before then, because I really don't think he's going to be online in time.
Right, well, hopefully...
Actually, you know what? He might go Hex.
Oh,
That would be...
Yeah, that wouldn't be that bad, actually.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I was saying Scotty because I think that the damage to towers is pretty significant, and they really need to be able to finish off those towers super quickly. But Hex might be the way to go to be able to catch the OD off in the midst of it. By the way, this courier's been chased for like 10 years. It does look like it's finally going to go down there as they're able to take it on out. And that was actually a lot of gold taken out from it. They're going to be able to commit the haunt for this one. Are they going to be able to find anybody chasing after the Nature's Prophet? He's over in the trees. Fine for the moment. Nobody dead yet, and he does end up surviving through that one. Let's take a look. What was on that courier? That was actually the Manta style from the spec, so no Manta for 3 minutes.
Oh, that is pretty huge, actually. Like, again, a lot of delayed money coming out from Cuckoo. Just like taking so long to get onto the Radiance, and now obviously the Manta going to be delayed as well. So it's really starting to hurt him. Like, he hasn't had any sort of progression. Plays Spectre though, so still it puts a lot of damage.
Yeah. Well, it's like you said, he's definitely doing a lot of that damage. Still got a little bit of time before that Manta's going to be online. The jump on in again. Meepo is going to keep these lanes pushed on out, and he does go for the Hex. It makes sense. Again, the Scotty build, a little bit of the older school, and I like it when you're sort of trying to take the towers quickly, but in terms of being able to win the team fights, the Hex just makes much more sense. So they also get a decent chunk of stats off the back of it. 2,000 HP currently up on the Meepo. They're going to go for a smoke play now. Can they beat somebody down before they're going to be able to get those BKBs off? It's a little bit of a scary ask, though, as they're looking for somebody, and if they run into this OD at the very start of this could maybe be able to go okay for them. They jump forward, catch. No BKB off for him. He is going to be able to be force sapped away. Oh, now the turnaround. This is a huge problem. They're all arcane cursed up. That's going to be a dead Meepo, and now the chase after the Nyx assassin. BKB's already there, so no ability to keep them off of him, and my goodness, this is just going to be disaster. Too much damage too quickly. Towers are going down. They're losing everything here. It does look like Disruptor's going to end up falling as well. So 3 dead in a matter of seconds. And it was just about the best initiation you could hope for, but Batrider was there.
Yeah, that silence. So solid. Bash. Like, what a great hero pick to come out from the side of Mineski. It completely counters them. Like, they try this blink poop play and then silence, and that gives them enough time to get the sheep, pop that BKB, and then they have just no chance of killing Bear whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, again, you've got the Night Stalker heading out around here, just trying to keep eyes on stuff, and I guess he's trying to push out this creep wave. It does look like, though, now Mineski have decided to start to apply the pressure. Tier 1 towers are going to end up falling in the bottom lane. They've already taken the one up top, and now moving to the Tier 2 bottom as well. I feel like the window is very close to closing. Oh my god, they're going to be able to catch here onto the Night Stalker. Haunt already committed, and just a couple of right clicks. I mean, he might be able to reality back to the bottom lane if he wants. This is going to be a dead Night Stalker, and nothing really to do to stop it. My goodness.
Seems like we've reached that point where their lineup has a pretty low percentage chance of winning the game. Just, obviously with the Meepo, you're always looking to try and get it. Maybe there's a chance coming later. I don't even know if this is... Oh, there we go. Okay.
Meepo did it.
Yeah. A little help from my friends. Multiple friends.
Let's see. About 1,000 gold swing off the back of that one kill. With the Diffusal Blade already up, this is rapidly becoming not not really important, like whatever items they get. Eventually, the next, probably, if Spectre gets one more item, I feel like they have to get just a terrible team fight from the side of Mineski to even have a chance of being able to win it, and then they're just gonna have to go like straight down mid or something. It's so hard for them to come back at this stage. Even though Disruptor now is trying to build towards that Agnum Scepter, I'm just, I don't know, I'm super concerned about them. Blink, completed a while ago on Nyx Assassin, building towards the Agnums himself, but this just means that there's this timing window where you've got roughly 2,000 gold committed into these two heroes, and it's not really doing that much for them.
Yeah, it seems like they need to find a way to catch out Jesse Vash, and you'd think with the Night Stalker, like maybe just when his BKB's up, it will be possible. If he's not being controlled up by the Bat Rider, he can actually get in there, find that silencer, and at least try and maybe force out the silence at either an inopportune moment, or of course, try and silence him down during those key moments. I'm not sure if that's going to be all that possible. Jesse Vash, obviously, it's a little bit of a global spell. I know, shocking. So it can be pretty hard to get on top of him at those.
Yeah, no, it's a struggle, but I'm sure that they'll do okay. It does look like, again, the Disruptor is the one who's getting chased on down here, and Raging Potato looking for a tasty snack here as, again, frame rate drops through the toilet. Is a little bit of trouble there, but the Disruptor goes down. Meanwhile, the Haunt forward, they're going to be able to go for the Global Silence, going to be able to chase down this Night Stalker. He's going to die. They're looking for the Nyx. He ends up blinking off to the side and maybe going to be able to find it. Do they get the, oh my god, the Flame Break was on point, but a little bit too late. So still another two high priority, well-ish pickoffs, and Mineski are not stopping for anything.
Yeah, it's kind of just the rolling scenario. And what's your win condition can actually bring you back into this? It seems Ben-Hur accidentally drops his BKB maybe. Or his Lincoln Sphere. Yeah, this is so the way to go. Like,
oh my
honestly,
goodness.
just live. What are they gonna do?
Yeah, that's the thing about OD that's just so hard to deal with, is he just does so much damage by virtue of his natural skill set that all you have to do is survive with him. I think that probably at this point the best thing that they could hope for is like trying to bait out BKBs with something. I don't know what exactly, on the side of Arcanys, like maybe a Nyx Assassin with a catch and then a blink forward. They get them to think that they're going on the OD, and then after that they try and go for a gank, and maybe this is the moment. They have brought back on the other side though. Oh god, caught out from the rest of the herd again. Disruptor does end up going down, and now they're going to chase here in the mid lane. Is this the Nyx Assassin that they've caught? Yeah, he's going to end up maybe going down. Shiva's Guard committed. He's still getting chased, and it looks like he's going to end up falling. Everything committed, and he is just dead again. Nature's Prophet doing everything he possibly can in the top lane to push this out, but again, like, how do you stop this? There's just too much damage.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. One of those underrated things about Bat Rider is K-pop. There have been so many moments this game where like you just saw that impale and you're just like, what was that? But like you can't hit anything with the massive change to the turn radius. Then the same thing with the Night Stalker. I've seen him like spinning in circles trying to get stuff done. The Disruptor can't even glimpse half the time.
Oh god, the Meepo just barely got out of that one. Holy hell, that was so close. On the other side, the Spectre is still running away from everybody. This is such a freaking mobile game. They actually end up catching him. That's going to be silenced up as well as the net. A lot of Meepos coming in. If they can kill off Cuckoo here, this might be a big turning point. Get about 500 gold for that one. A decent pickoff, and probably the best hero to get out of all of them, with the exception of maybe the OD, but 2,000 gold swing.
Yeah, if they lose this game by some miracle of divine intervention, Cuckoo is like solely to blame, honestly. Just like too many YOLO plays. Like, doesn't make sense.
Oh, and that was really close again. They rotated in, going to be able to kill off that Nyx Assassin. There was an opportunity there where he might have been able to find a big impale and, stop it before the Aegis went down. But again, OD just too quickly able to burn through that Roche, and he's got the Aegis back up on top of Lincoln's BKB and a Shiva's Guard. I mean, this guy's got 30 armor right now. He is exactly where he freaking wants to be.
It's so hilarious that you build like essentially 3 defensive items and semi-defensive item in your Blink Dagger, and now he's an Aegis too. My god. It must be fun being this guy right now.
Yeah.
I am an unkillable god of damage.
Yeah, he's definitely a completely and totally balanced hero. It's everybody wants to complain about balance every single time anything happens, but I don't know. There's ways to deal with OD, but he is just completely and totally taken over this game. Currently sitting at the second highest net worth, ever so slightly behind the Meepo, who, by the way, ended up going back for that Diffusal Blade. So a little bit of the extra agi, the ability to purge stuff off. Pretty decent start.
Yeah, that'll be helping against that global silence. Not exactly picking up the Manta these days too much on the Meepo, I guess, so opt for the Diffusal Blade instead. So it's kind of on the push. I guess the Agnum Scepter is going to help them dragging this one out. They can spam these treants, pushing these waves in, and Cuckoo, yeah, he can deal with them well, but that is still one of the things with OD. The Shiva's Guard, makes it a little bit easier, but for the most part, a little bit harder for him to show lanes quite as easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you capitalize though? Like, what can you do from Arcanys besides just like shove the farm over to their side of the map?
I agree. I don't think that there's really anything. They're kind of just hoping, and I think that it's an interesting way to think about it. Like, I wonder in these best of threes oftentimes when it's worth it to just say, all right, you know what? We're going to focus on the next game. Let's call it here and let's move on. Because the win condition essentially at this stage for Arcanys, who, by the way, might end up just losing an Nature's Prophet right here. The win condition for them is, I think, they team wipe Mineski. With no with no buybacks, and like the only way that happens is if they team wipe them twice within 5 minutes, and it's just not going to happen. They end up being able to go forward now with the Haunt committed. Where is the Spectre actually at right now? Jump down on the bottom lane, actually been able to catch out. Yeah, okay, that's a dead Meepo. Oh my god.
Yeah, I like the bots up on Ben-Hur because they were just like, you know what? Why don't we just put bots up on top of our OD, and that way, like, get rid of those treads. Now you can come into the ganks as well. And that should just shut out any hope they had left. Now Meepo can't go anywhere.
And Spectre has right around 6,000 gold. Like, it's very close to it. They might be able to finish off, the Jules here is taking a decent chunk of damage. They end up being able to commit the silence onto him. A couple more right clicks. The Maledict is still going. Actually, don't kill off the Witch Doctor. He's gonna end up being able to get away from there. And now a Butterfly up on the big bad Spectre. Oh god, this is... Spectre used to be one of my favorite heroes, and now I play against Spectre all the time, and it's one of my least favorite heroes. It's just, you get to this late stage, and what do you do to kill him? Like, it's too hard, I feel like.
Yeah. I love that cheese. Yummy.
Absolutely.
I'll munch that right back up. So I feel like Jesse Bash having the laziest game of life. He's been like so far back, he's only stolen 16 intelligence despite all these kills, and like he had the early 12, and then ever since that he's just like, hey, never gonna cross the river. There's no real point for him. It's too caught out because that does give them some sort of a chance to, maybe take a couple big picks during the engagement.
He could sit and fountain the rest of this game, and they would still win.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where I feel like he's at this stage, and all that he's really trying to do is save up for that refresher and also make sure that he has buyback up and available. Yeah, it's again, Arcanys draft is built at this stage to hold back the onslaught that's coming towards them, but to no end. And I think that they still have the capabilities of winning. Like, it's not an unwinnable situation, but the mistakes that Mineski would have to make to sort of stop it from stop themselves from being able to take this one are really, really would have to be impressive.
Well, Aegis. All right, Aegis Spy, let's go, guys. Go get that OD.
Time to party.
I'd like to see them just put the cheese on top of them. Cuckoo.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, the cheese is...
Interesting.
On the courier?
I mean, it's worth noting he has only died 4 times. Like, obviously you want to be able to have your Spectre die no times, but he hasn't been like repeatedly dying over and over again. It hasn't been the best game for him in the world, but he's still been able to farm. He's 23,000 net worth. He's in a pretty freaking good spot. And you see down here in the bottom lane, actually, they've been able to manage a pretty decent sized push, and at least for the moment, Silencer is staying a little bit further back. They don't want to end up taking this one. They're all going to have to TP away, though, as it does look like people are starting to come back and deal with this. And the ever-present fear of the Haunt is going to keep them from really heavily committing to this.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, do they have to force a fight from Arcanys? These heroes, they're not getting any bigger. You know, Meepo's level 25, because he's going to sell his drums for probably body last, I would guess, unless he wants to go like for the more classical style, like an Elite or something like that for the crazier stats.
Yeah,
it's just time to make something happen. It's only going to get worse. It's never going to get better. I guess you drag this out long enough that some sort of a split push happens and they overcommit here, but there's just a refresher after refresher popping off here on Mineski.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the other thing about it is that, like, I feel like they're waiting for the perfect opportunity for a team fight to go. Oh my goodness, the Haunt on in again. Gonna be able to catch immediately onto that Disruptor. He's gonna go down. BKB's been popped for the Night Stalker. Chase is gonna continue. Raging Potato. He doesn't have been able to get the silence, but there's the BKB to take it off for the moment. Still running away, Hunter of the Night. Oh, he gets slowed down by the Diffusal Blade, though, and no need to commit the Flaming Lasso. Bottom lane, by the way, they're gonna be able to kill off the Meepo again. He's just gonna go down. 3 are dead at this stage, looking to be able to pressure the lanes a little bit further forward, and Refresher now up on the Bat Riders you were talking about. They are catching Cuckoo again, but honestly, the only 2 heroes that are left are Nature's Prophet and Nyx Assassin. What are you going to do to a Spectre at this stage?
Nothing, I don't think. Like, let alone him. I don't know how you're going to deal with Ben-Hur. Oh, look, he even gave up the cheat. Yeah. So kind.
It's a nice guy. Well, Manta-style illusions are going. It looks like this is going to end up being a tier 3 tower here. You know, again, you want to be able to say that there's still a chance for everybody, and maybe this is their last little hurrah here. They do have the Meepo coming back, and we'll see if Mineski stick around. They get the Impale off, jump forward. Oh god, no, they're not going to be able to catch. They only get 1 in the Static Storm. They were able to force staff away the OD. Meanwhile, he's still alive for the moment. Turn around with the Global Silence. Can they chase any further? Looking for the slowdown. They're going to be able to bring on back 1 more of the Meepos. He's taking a ton of damage in the mid lane over there. It does look like Nature's Prophet going to barely survive, still doing a ton. That's going to be the Sanity's Eclipse down. Further chasing. They do have a ton of damage here from the Night Stalker. Ends up using his Midas right there as well, trying to get the value, but GG ends up getting called in the end as a secondary refresher. It's just too much. Oh my goodness. Mineski take it in the end, and Arcanys, they had moments. They had these different points where they felt like they were going to be able to turn it back around, or at least be able to snowball forward, but maybe just getting a little bit too far out of their hands. Mineski are going to take it. My goodness, Mount Packs. What are you thinking?
Well, they held it way longer than I would have expected. By the nature of Meepo and Nature's Prophet both doing